Think your automatic transmission is bulletproof? Think again. One wrong habit can overheat fluid, shock internal clutches, or let a parked car creep at the worst moment. Automatics are precise machines that reward clean technique. The goal here is simple. Lock in safe habits that keep the transmission healthy, the brakes cool, and control in your hands. Treat the shifter like a surgical tool, not a hammer. Plant your heel so pedal moves are deliberate. Use the parking brake to carry the vehicle's weight whenever you park. Stay in gear on grades so the engine shares the work. Follow the fluid specification the car was engineered around. Respect the towing limits printed on the door. Match tire sizes so differentials are not forced to fight all day. Choose calm, deliberate inputs and the hardware will run cooler, shift cleaner, and last longer. This guide gives clear mistakes to avoid and outlines good habits that you can practice immediately at every driveway and parking space. These are very practical steps that keep heat and shock under control. Once these 10 habits live in muscle memory, unnecessary transmission risk disappears. The car holds still when it should, and each start, stop, and direction change feels steady and secure. That is the goal. Safe. A repeatable technique that protects machine, people, time, and money every single drive. Mistake 1. Changing direction while the car is still moving. Selecting reverse while rolling forward or drive while rolling backward slams rotating parts that are moving one way into parts now commanded to move the other way. That shock removes friction material, hammers sprags, and adds useless heat to the fluid. Fix it with a strict sequence. Brake to a full stop, hold the pedal, wait a beat so the driveline settles, then move the selector. Do not release the brake until the range indicator confirms engagement. In tight 3-point turns, count a calm 1 or 2 beats between selections. On ice or gravel, tiny rolls are hard to feel through the seat, so rely on the sequence rather than feel. Electronic shifters may block abusive inputs, yet mounts and couplers still feel the hit. Make this muscle memory in every driveway and parking lot. Stop first, select second, move third. You will notice cleaner engagements, less clunk, and steering that stays calm as weight shifts before you power the other way. If the vehicle coasts on a slope, hold the brake more firmly, then choose the gear. If you overshoot, return to the brake, pause, and try again instead of snatching at the lever. Teach new drivers this exact routine on day 1 so it becomes automatic long before bad habits take root. Slow down the inputs, let the mechanical parts stop completely, and the gearbox will keep rewarding you with quiet, decisive direction changes for many years. Mistake 2. Selecting park before a complete stop or skipping the parking brake. Park locks the transmission's output with a small pawl that drops into a toothed wheel. If the car is still creeping when you move the selector, that pawl takes the hit. On a slope, letting the vehicle's weight rest on the drivetrain wedges parts together and makes the next shift out of park harsh. The fix is a consistent order every time. Stop on the service brake, apply the parking brake, select park, then lift your foot. That sequence places the load on brakes designed to hold the car and keeps the pawl as a backup, not an anchor. On steep grades, turn the front wheels toward a curb or shoulder so a physical stop supports the vehicle if something slips. When leaving a tight spot, press the brake, reapply the parking brake to remove tension, then shift. If your vehicle uses an electronic parking brake, use auto hold in traffic so the brakes, not converter slip, keep the car still. Avoid nudging the lever while rolling into a space. Finish on the foot brake. Pause, then select park. If you hear a loud clack when you release your foot, reset the sequence correctly. Making this a habit keeps components squarely within their design job and prevents the embarrassing lurch that happens when a bound driveline releases. Rely on brakes to hold weight, rely on park to lock a stationary car, and every arrival feels controlled. Mistake 3. Coasting downhill in neutral. Neutral disconnects the engine from the road wheels, which removes engine braking and forces the service brakes to carry the load. On long grades that creates excessive pad and rotor temperature and can boil fluid, which means a soft pedal and fade when grip matters most. It also steals options if traffic changes because throttle response is delayed and the driveline is unloaded. The cure is simple. Stay in gear and manage speed with lower gearing and short, firm brake applications. Before the slope steepens, select a lower range or manual mode so the transmission holds a lower ratio. Allow converter lockup when possible so heat does not build. Trim speed in steps, then release the pedal to let airflow cool the brakes. Many vehicles include grade logic that senses braking and downshifts to help. Work with it by maintaining a pace rather than alternating hard braking and long coasts. If you smell hot brakes, feel a long pedal, or see a steep descent sign, slow early and choose a lower gear before gravity builds momentum. Keeping the driveline engaged also stabilizes the chassis in turns because engine drag helps. Neutral may feel smooth, yet it removes the mechanical link that keeps speed, temperature, and response under control. Stay in gear on descents, pick a speed you can hold and share work between engine and brakes. The car will feel calm, stops will stay predictable, and components will run cooler to the bottom. Mistake 4. Neutral drops or selecting a drive range at high engine speed. Revving in neutral and snapping the lever into drive creates an instant shock load through the torque converter and clutch packs that are designed to engage at idle. Friction plates slam together, splines twist, and mounts take a hammer blow. Even one stunt removes material from the clutch faces and seeds shudder or delayed engagement later. Correct technique is simple. With your right foot on the brake, select the desired range, confirm the indicator and accelerate smoothly once the gear engages. If your vehicle includes a factory launch feature, follow the exact steps, which begin with the selector already in a drive range while the system manages torque. Do not try to mimic that behavior by free revving and shifting. Drivers sometimes snap into gear at a high idle when turning across traffic because they fear a lag, yet that habit abuses hardware. Plan the move, select the gear while stopped, and roll when a safe gap opens. When brisk response is needed, use a sport mode that keeps revs higher after you are already in drive, or pre-select a lower range before you move. Avoid tricks that rely on surprise or shock. The parts that make smooth motion possible are precise, thin, and expensive to replace. Engage a drive range at idle only. Respect the hardware and it will repay you with clean engagements and a transmission that fades into the background rather than demanding attention. Mistake 5. Riding the brakes downhill or holding the car on a hill with the accelerator. Riding the brakes keeps pads, rotors, and fluid at high temperature and invites fade that lengthens stopping distance when you need it most. Holding position with the gas pedal forces the torque converter to slip continuously, which builds heat in the transmission and darkens fluid quickly. The better approach is simple. Before the grade steepens, select a lower range or manual mode so the engine provides steady braking. Manage speed with short, firm applications that drop speed, then release so airflow can cool components. On long descents, set a safe target speed and hold it with gearing, not a drag pedal. At red lights on hills, keep the car still with the brake or auto hold, not the throttle. If you smell hot brakes or feel a soft pedal, back off early and let temperatures recover. This technique preserves the brakes for emergencies and keeps transmission temperatures in the safe zone. It also makes passengers more comfortable because the car holds a consistent pace instead of surging and dragging. Plan your gearing before the hill, use decisive braking and let the powertrain help. The results show up quickly on trips. Rotors stay flatter, pads last longer, and lockup returns sooner after each stop. Most important, you maintain control at the bottom of the hill when other drivers are fighting fade and long pedals. Cool components work better and they give you margin for surprises. Mistake 6. Driving with both feet. Left foot braking while your right foot hovers over the accelerator increases the chance of overlap and removes the clean on-off rhythm that modern controls expect. Even a small amount of throttle while you believe you are braking commands the driveline to pull while the brakes fight it, which builds heat and lengthens stopping distance. Two-foot driving also masks true brake feel because the engine continues to push the car when you intend to slow. The prevention is simple. Use the right foot for both pedals, plant your heel so it does not roam and pivot cleanly between accelerator and brake. When backing, cover the brake while rolling and apply throttle only from a complete stop. In sensitive vehicles, select a calmer drive mode for tight maneuvers so initial throttle is softer. Practice the habit in an empty lot until the movement is automatic. If your legs are fatigued in traffic, use auto hold where equipped so the system keeps the car still while your foot rests. This approach aligns with stability control and transmission tuning, prevents accidental surges in parking lots, and reduces heat in the converter and pads. It also reduces the risk of pedal misapplication, a common cause of low-speed collisions in driveways and storefronts. 1 foot, deliberate pivots, and calm inputs keep the car predictable. The transmission is never asked to deliver torque while the brakes clamp, which is exactly how the powertrain was designed to work. Mistake 7. Ignoring transmission fluid condition or using the wrong specification. Automatic transmission fluid does 3 jobs at once. It lubricates moving parts, carries heat away, and provides the precise friction characteristics that clutches are tuned for. Dark color, a burnt smell, shudder on takeoff, delayed engagement or slipping at steady throttle are signs that service is due. Follow the interval and the exact fluid spec in the owner's manual, including any notes for frequent short trips, towing, mountainous routes, or high ambient temperatures. Many late-model vehicles have no dipstick, which means level and condition are checked through a service procedure at a specific temperature window. Ask for a check at scheduled maintenance and keep the record. When fluid service is due, use only the chemistry the manufacturer specifies because additive packages control friction and converter lockup timing. Mixing a universal fluid that does not meet the spec can create shutter and glazed friction material, even when the level is correct. Inspect cooler lines and fittings for leaks. Make sure the radiator and any auxiliary cooler fins are clear of debris, and replace the filter where applicable. If you frequently tow, cross mountain passes or live in extreme heat, shorten the service interval because heat cycles accelerate oxidation. Respond to warning lights or unusual shift behavior immediately rather than adapting to it. Healthy fluid supports crisp shifts, firm lockup, quiet operation, and long service life, which is the best return on a simple maintenance task you can schedule today. Mistake 8. Towing or hauling without respecting ratings or driveline settings. Extra weight adds heat faster than almost any other normal use because you are moving more mass and pushing more air at every speed. If your vehicle offers a tow or haul mode, engage it before you move. That mode holds lower gears longer, locks the converter sooner, reduces hunting, and often commands stronger cooling strategies. On older models without that feature, turning off overdrive while towing can prevent repeated shifts that generate unnecessary heat. Respect the combined weight rating, tongue weight limit, and payload listed on the door label and in the manual. Distribute cargo so the trailer is stable, level the rig with the correct hitch height, and verify that trailer brakes and lights function before departure. If you tow regularly over mountains or in hot weather, add an auxiliary transmission cooler. Keep airflow to the cooler clear of cargo or grill guards, and service fluid more frequently. Leave extra following distance, downshift early on descents, so the engine helps control speed, and pull over if a temperature warning appears or you smell overheated fluid. Use a weight distribution hitch and a properly adjusted brake controller on heavier trailers so the tow vehicle is not doing all the work. The aim is simple: keep temperatures stable and shifts decisive. When the numbers on paper guide your decisions and the vehicle's built-in features are used as designed, the gearbox stays protected, and the trip stays calm throughout. Mistake 9. Driving with mismatched tire sizes, drastically uneven tread depths, or the wrong rolling diameter, especially on all-wheel drive systems. Different diameters make wheels rotate at different speeds, which forces differentials and electronically controlled couplings to work constantly in normal driving. That extra work shows up as heat and wear in bearings, clutches and gears, and it can trigger stability or traction systems when the road is fine. Replace tires in complete sets, or at least in axle pairs, to keep rolling diameter consistent, and rotate on schedule so tread stays even. Verify that a temporary spare is used only within its speed and distance limits and only until a full-size tire is repaired or replaced. Correct pressure matters here as well. Underinflated tires change effective rolling radius and add drag that the transmission must overcome, while overinflated tires reduce contact patch and stability. Check pressures cold, including the spare, and adjust for seasonal temperature swings. After mounting new tires, confirm that alignment is within specifications so the car tracks straight without scrubbing. If your vehicle uses staggered sizes, follow the manufacturer's rotation policy exactly, or consider square fitment when allowed to simplify service. When warning lights illuminate after a tire change, read the messages rather than ignoring them, because wheel speed differences often explain the alert. Matching tires protect the transmission, the differentials, the transfer components, and the traction controls that tie them together. Keep diameters consistent, and the entire driveline runs cooler, quieter, and longer. Mistake 10. Flat towing an automatic with the drive wheels on the ground or trying to push start it. Most automatics rely on a pump driven by the engine to circulate fluid for lubrication and cooling. With the pump stopped, internal parts can spin with little or no oil flow, which scuffs bushings and gears in minutes. Flat towing at highway speed without a dedicated lubricating system can create an expensive teardown quickly. If your vehicle is approved for recreational flat towing, the owner's manual outlines exact steps, which often include a transfer case neutral position and specific startup cycles to move fluid before and after towing. If your vehicle is not approved, use a trailer, a tow dolly that lifts the drive axle off the ground, or a properly designed drive shaft disconnect kit engineered for the application. Never attempt to push start an automatic by towing or rolling downhill. The torque converter does not create a solid mechanical link at low speed the way a manual clutch does, so the engine will not spin and the unit can be damaged severely. During any roadside issue, select neutral, set the parking brake once stopped, and follow the recovery instructions in the manual so you do not add transmission damage to the original problem. Treat oil flow as a non-negotiable requirement. If the pump is not turning, the drive wheels should not turn either. This single rule protects transmissions and keeps minor breakdowns from becoming major repairs for safe transport. Thanks for watching, folks, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw here.